President Trump is spending the weekend at one of his golf resorts in Scotland as he prepares for Monday's summit in Finland with Russian President Vladimir Putin. On Friday, hundreds of protesters demonstrated in Glasgow, Scotland's second largest city, against Mr. Trump's visit to the UK. Many said the protests were against the president, not the American people. There were also protests in London yesterday, and more demonstrations are planned in Glasgow and London for today. The president is at his golf resort in Turnberry on the west coast of Scotland, south of Glasgow. Roxana Saberi is in Turnberry.
Donald Trump has been to Scotland several times before, but this is his first time as president. You can see how tight the security is here. Police officers are lining the edge of the resort, where the president is expected to spend his weekend playing golf. His visit here follows meetings with the Queen and Britain's Prime Minister.
When President Trump landed in Scotland last night, he left behind in England a trail of diplomatic disruption.
Because I didn't criticize the Prime Minister. I have a lot of respect for the Prime Minister.
He backtracked on controversial comments he made in an interview with Britain's top tabloid, criticizing Prime Minister Theresa May's approach to leaving the European Union.
Whatever you're going to do is okay with us. Just make sure we can trade together. That's all that matters.
Both leaders focused on their country's, quote, special relationship, even holding hands at one point.
I would say the highest level of special. Now, am I allowed to go higher than that? I'm not sure. But it's the highest level of special. They're very special people.
After his meeting with the Prime Minister, President Trump became the 12th U.S. president to meet Queen Elizabeth. She welcomed him and the First Lady at Windsor Castle with a ceremony followed by tea, chatting more than 15 minutes longer than scheduled. The president largely avoided central London, where tens of thousands of protesters filled the streets, and a large balloon depicting him in a diaper hovered near the Houses of Parliament. At a smaller rally in Glasgow, Scotland, demonstrators included Americans like Jill Porter, a tourist from Oklahoma.
You don't understand the daily distress that I feel because I don't recognize my country anymore. I really don't.
Local resident Martin Heaney said President Trump isn't welcome here.
He is a racist, he is a sexist, a misogynist, he is anti-gay. There's such a long list of reasons why he shouldn't be allowed to come here.
But what about the argument that he's here to strengthen the relationship between the U.S. and the UK?
I think that's totally bogus.
To police the protests and protect the president, a massive security operation is underway. Outside his golf resort in Turnberry, officers are searching cars and snipers are set up on scaffolding. But in a major security breach, a paraglider circled the resort for several minutes last night, flying within yards of the president to protest his policies on the environment.
President Trump is expected to stay here until Sunday evening. He's preparing for his first summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Helsinki on Monday. For CBS This Morning Saturday, Roxana Saberi, Turnberry, Scotland.